Hi, I'm Chrissy Miles, and you're watching The Chrissy Miles Show, where I teach you how to take eternal truth and produce extreme results. In today's episode, I'm going to show you how to develop purpose for your provision. But first, subscribe to this channel and click the bell to get notified of more of my proven methods to get more out of life. Let's get started. Here's step number 1. What's your purpose? You see, in the Gospels, there's a story of Peter, James, and John having fished all night long. And when they came in the morning, there was nothing. They had literally caught nothing. Jesus happened to be there, and he was speaking to some people. And then he told Simon, Peter, to put out his nets into the deep water and to let down his nets, and that he would get a catch. And of course, Peter, having been the avid fisherman that he was, knew that he had been out all night. There were no fish out there. But he decided to listen to Jesus, maybe contrary to his own personal judgment. And he throws his nets out into the water. And of course, you know the story. When the nets were thrown into the water, they caught so many fish that he had to call his partners from the shore, bring out another boat, and the boats literally began to sink. Now, when I tell you to find your purpose, here is part of the plan for developing purpose for your provision. You see, I believe that Jesus needed to get Peter in a position where he had no more financial needs, or at least no pressing financial needs, before he asked Peter to do something more with his life. And of course, right after this story, this is when Jesus tells these gentlemen to follow him, and he would make them fishers of men. Literally, he put a call on their lives. He gave them a purpose in their life to go and to follow Jesus and to do something significant, something more than they had ever done before. And you know what the Bible says? It says that they immediately left everything they were doing and they followed him. Maybe some of you have recently watched The Chosen during some of the time that you've had off, and there's a really nice episode where this particular scene is played out. And what makes it interesting, or what brings this particular story to life, is in thinking about the financial gain that would have come to Peter and James and John, his partners, so that Peter was now in a position to actually go and do something with Jesus. And I believe that that is part of understanding provision and part of getting more provision to come your way. What is your purpose? If your purpose is simply to serve yourself, or to wake up, go to work, and simply spend every single penny that you have on yourself, then you're going to have a hard time seeing God's provision really made manifest in your life. But ask yourself, what are you doing with your life that has an eternal impact, a significant impact beyond just your own inner circle? When you have purpose for your life, you're going to find that more resources will come to you, so that you actually have the time to put down the things that you were doing and to follow Jesus full time in a full on purpose and focus for your life. Here's step number 2. Do what you can, not what you can't. You know, there's a story in the New Testament where Paul is writing to the churches, and he's talking to them about helping to provide for some of his ministerial needs. And one of the things that he tells them to specifically keep in mind is that they should only do what they can, not what they can't. Meaning that they're not required to give beyond what they're capable of giving. They're not required to do something beyond what they have the capacity to do. But you see, what happens is when we look at opportunities for giving, or we look at our finances, we usually start comparing our situation to other people around us. And when we start comparing our situation to other people around us, what happens is we feel bad and we feel guilty that we can't do more. And whenever you put yourself in a position where you feel guilty that you can't do more, normally what happens is you don't do anything at all. And so, because you're afraid of the gift that you're providing, or you're afraid that what you're offering won't be accepted by the person that you're giving it to, you simply talk yourself out of it and you don't do anything at all. But you see, every act of faith in the Bible that is spoken about is rewarded in some way, shape, or form because you are showing God that you trust Him with the things that you have in your possession. And so that's why when God is crediting your account, He is crediting you for what you have available to you, not what you don't have available for you. So when you look at your circumstances and you feel prompted to give or to help, don't compare yourself to other people who you think might be giving more than what you're capable of doing, and therefore you start feeling bad. Just simply look at the provision that you have available to you and give what you can, not what you can't. The biggest question when you look at what you have available to give is, what is your purpose in giving? And of course, the beauty of that is if your purpose in giving is to bless, then God rewards you for that, meaning that your gift is acceptable when the motivation is right. But if you're giving to impress, then the motivation is wrong, and therefore the purpose of your gift has no real eternal value. So give with purpose out of the resources that you have available, and you're going to be rewarded for what you've done. Here's step number 3. Understand that it's okay to take care of yourself. You see, part of the purpose of God bringing you provision is so that you can actually take care of yourself. And this is where people get a little bit confused because we've been told that we should give, and if we're not giving enough, we feel guilty. But there's an interesting passage that you may not have read in quite this light before. It comes from 2 Corinthians 9:8, and it says this. It says, God is able to bless you abundantly, so that in all things at all times, having all that you need, you will abound into every good work. Now, that phrase there, having all that you need, is literally, in that translation, means to have the things that make you content. There is that terminology or that phraseology of contentment. So what this is saying is that God wants to bless you so abundantly that you have all that you need. And when you have all that you need, you will have a desire to abound unto every good work, or meaning that you'll have a desire and the capacity to give to anything that you want to give to. And here's the reality. If you look around at your circumstance and your situation and you don't have enough that makes you content, the Bible would actually teach you that God wants to bless you so abundantly that you are going to be in that place of contentment, and therefore you'll have all of your needs met and you'll be able to give to everything else. Now, probably what you've heard people teach about in this passage is, well, you just need to be content with what you have. You see, we always have the tendency to downplay the promises of God to fit within our circumstance. We want to basically give God an excuse or give Him a way out. So we basically rationalize, well, I really don't need that much. But here's the problem with that thinking, is that you might be saying you don't really need that much, or you don't really want those things in order to sound humble, or that you're not greedy. But if you still desire those things in your heart, guess what? You're going to be at war with yourself. You're going to be saying one thing, but really truly desiring very deeply something else. Now, the reality is, and the beauty is, that God actually wants to give you those things. If you want a nice car, a nice home, whatever that means to you, He actually wants to do that for you. And there's nothing wrong with that. There is no sin in desiring nice things. The reality is that God wants you to have the things that you have this desire for in your heart, so that you can, first of all, know that He cares about you, that He listens to the things that are on your heart, and that He's able to provide you what you need, so that you will get into a position where you look around at the things you have and you think, wow, I really have a lot, and therefore you desire to bless other people. You see, if at any point in your life you are unsatisfied with your life, the things that you have, your relationships, it doesn't matter. Any place in your life where there is lack, and in this case, we're talking about finances. If there is lack in your life, you are never going to have the heart to give because you will see yourself as not having any resources or not having enough resources for yourself, and therefore you won't be motivated to help anyone else. If you feel like there's a lack in your time, you're not going to give your time to other people because you think if I give this out, then I won't have anything for myself. If you feel like there's a lack in whatever it is, no matter what aspect of life, finances, your personal well-being, anything, if you feel a lack in any way, you are going to want to reserve your resources for yourself instead of blessing other people. So this is why Paul's writing the Corinthians, and he's telling them very specifically, remember that God wants to bless you abundantly so that in all things and at all times, you will have everything that you need. So you see, we get our needs met from God. And because we get our needs met from God, it gives us the freedom to give to other people because we see that ourselves are not a source in and of themselves. We get our source from God. For more tips on finding purpose for your provision, I want to invite you to download this MP3 called Blessed and Highly Favored. You know, the Bible teaches that God brings wealth and he adds no trouble to it. So if you want to learn more about how to access all of God's provision, I want you to download this free MP3, Blessed and Highly Favored. Here's step number 4. Realize that poverty is a curse. So in Genesis chapter 3, you're probably familiar with this story. Adam and Eve sinned. They fell short. And they had a lot of bad things come into their life as a result of that. Well, when God came to speak to them about what their actions had produced, he basically told them, this is now a byproduct of your sin. And he says in verse 17, cursed is the ground because of you. Through painful toil, you will eat food from it all the days of your life, and it will produce thorns and thistles for you. So basically what he is saying is now, in order to get your provision, you're going to have to work for it. In order to sustain yourself, you're going to have to work for it. That's all part of the curse. Now, in Galatians, we know that the Bible teaches us that cursed is anyone who hangs on a tree, and that Jesus came to redeem us from the curse of the law. So what does that mean? It means that we started in a garden-like setting where God provided everything that we would need. There was no work associated with God's provision. We could simply take it, receive it, do with it what we wanted to. When we sinned, we fell under a curse, which means that in order to get the things that we need, we have to toil for it painfully. But now, in the new covenant, in the new relationship that we have with God, it says that Jesus became a curse for us so that we don't have to live under the curse anymore. What does that mean? It means that God's provision now for us comes to us in the same way that he provided for Adam and Eve in the garden. It comes to us without painful toil. Now, you might be listening to this and thinking, that's not possible. Like, I've worked hard my whole life. And the question that I want to ask you is, did you have to? Was there another way? Can you conceive of a life that's different than your painful work getting you the things that you need in life? And I'll tell you how that works. When we trust God to provide things for us, outside of the heavy lifting that we put into the process, things become easy. Literally, things can happen to you, and things that most people would call miracles can take place in your finances, even when you're not working for it. And I know that might sound crazy if you've never experienced it before, but if you are on this journey to really see the promises of God happen in your life, you are actually going to begin to experience exactly what this verse is saying in Galatians, that Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law, that he has become a sin offering for us in another chapter, it says, another book. And because he has received the curse in himself, we don't have to live under any curses anymore. And that includes the curse of poverty. Struggling hard and working hard to get the things that you need is all part of the curse. And if you've been living like that for a long time, I've got good news for you. Jesus died so you don't have to live like that anymore. Now, there are some steps that you can take to understand how to make all of this work. There's a process that you have to undergo to change your belief system. But if you're tired of working so hard and gaining so little, let me encourage you and let you know there is a better way. And it is all started in this idea that God wants to show you a purpose for the things that he's given you. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed these tips on how to find purpose for your provision. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button and share it with somebody who is struggling in their finances. It might be what they need to help set them on a course to change their life. And if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to this channel to get notified each Tuesday of more of my proven methods to get more out of life. Thanks for watching.